Hi, Chingu Mentors. Thanks for joining our session today. Hope everyone's doing well. And the purpose of this session is to basically go through what it means to be a mentor, what is expected of you. But equally as important, we want to make sure you understand what we're telling the Voyage teams as to what they can expect. Um, so at any point, feel free to ask questions or make your comments in the YouTube chat window. I'm watching it, and let's jump right in. In fact, I'm going to highlight that window for you. All right, so basically, what does it mean to be a mentor? What are we asking? Well, if you can see my screen, let me minimize my browser windows, I should say. So this is our Voyage Mentors channel. Let me make it a little bit larger. But pinned to this channel, if you go to the top, the pinned messages, we've added, what the requirements are for this particular role, what to expect. And we've shared this with you as well before, but it's worth going over it again. So basically, we've asked each of you to sign up and let us know, number one, what tier do you want to mentor? And in many cases, you can mentor a tier that's equal to yours or lower than yours. You can't mentor a team that's in a higher tier than what you're at right now. So we've asked you all, and you've all have responded with what's your tier that you want to mentor. And also you've let us know how many Voyage teams you have the capacity to mentor. So the rules around this is we're basically are telling and have told the Voyagers that they have access to you for 1 to 2 hours a week maximum based upon your availability. We've also cautioned them or just let them know that we expect them to make every effort to answer questions and do their own study and research. It's just when they get to a blocking point that they can't go any further, they haven't made any progress, then they should come to you. So again, we're trying to make this useful for the Voyage teams, but at the same time, low impact on you. So you will be assigned to a team, and again, depending upon how many teams you told us you'll support, you'll be assigned to a team, and no one on that team will be more than 3 time zones away from you. In addition, we're making every effort to actually find a team for each of you that's, if it's not in your time zone, they're only 1 time zone away. So it's not guaranteed, but we're doing our best there. So again, you should consider yourself as a resource for the team, not an active contributor to their project. So this means you're not expected to attend their meetings, you're not expected to write code or do design. You are not expected to be on call 24/7. In fact, what we've advised the teams and what we will continue to advise them is they should expect a response from you to questions within half a day. And that is by design. That's actually a good thing because that's going to prompt them and give them the time to do research rather than just running to you with each and every question they have. Now again, the minimum we've asked of you is an hour a week, and kind of the maximum is 2 hours a week. I think it's actually useful in this case that if you not spend more than 2 hours with the team, in fact closer to 1 hour, we do expect that they are going to do the work, not you. We will grant you access to the team channel, and we'll leave it up to you to reach out to the team the day the voyage starts to introduce yourself. We will, however, put this same information at the top of every team channel on Monday, January 2nd, when the voyage starts, so that they know these same rules. We've also reached out through the upcoming voyages channel yesterday to provide them with the same information, just as an introduction. So now at the end of the voyage, you'll receive a certificate of appreciation from us. It'll look very similar to the voyage participation certificate we issued today, but it's our way of providing you with some formal attestation or documentation that you acted and you helped out Chingu in a higher capacity. You know, as a mentor, that's a step up from being a voyage, a developer or a UI UX designer or a product owner or whatnot. This role isn't more important than those roles, but it's just one more piece of the puzzle that will help teams get a good start to their voyage and to have a good experience throughout the voyage. Now again, we ask you to if you can't daily, check the team channel for the team you've been assigned to and respond to the questions they've asked or the situations where they're asking for advice. Now don't think that you have to know every answer, because you don't. What we're doing is we're helping the teams learn how to be self-sufficient. So that means a lot of our advice may center around, well, here's how you research that question. Here's how you find the answer you need, rather than just giving them the answer. And again, if you know an answer, if it's a simple question, it's perfectly fine to say, this is the answer, and to lay it out. But it's equally just as fine or acceptable to tell the team, I don't know the answer, but here's what I would do. You know, here are the sites I would research. Here's maybe the keywords I'd use in Google. Here's maybe things to study that will get you the answer. Basically, you're giving them a roadmap to how to find the answer on their own. So that's really it. That's what we are expecting from you as mentors. And it's also, you know, we've discussed what we expect of the teams in terms of how they should use you and how they should be, we want them to be sensitive to your time as well. So just as of today, just some metrics. We have 127 people signed up for the voyage. We have about 18 that are in toucans, 40 something that are in tier 2. Toucans are tier 1. 40 something that are in tier 2, and another 60 to 70 that are in tier 3. So as you can see, we don't have as many tier 1s as we do tier 2s and tier 3s. Every voyage is a little bit different. Sometimes voyages, the majority are tier 1, sometimes it's tier 2, sometimes it's tier 3. And we've seen other voyages where it's almost equally spread across the 3 tiers. That's one of the reasons at Chingu we've learned how to adapt, because every voyage is different. So I also want to bring up and share wrong set of browsers, or wrong browser. I want to bring up the voyage guide. Again, you have links to this from your prior voyages, but we've added, you know, a commitment, a declaration of, or a definition of what commitment is required from each of the participants, each of the Chingus who are actually participating as team members in the voyage. So the 3 things that we've asked is, you know, we want them to be an active participant. You know, we don't want them just to sit around and lurk and wait for someone else to type in the team channel or someone else to say something in a team meeting. We want them to be active rather than passive. We also advise them to set aside an average of 6 to 8 hours a week. As you all know, voyages aren't easy. There is a lot of work, there's a lot of communication involved, and that takes time. So we've specifically asked them to set this time aside. And then the final thing we've asked is that they complete the voyage check-in form that we will send every Sunday to every team member. We really value those, the Chingu admin team. We process those on Mondays and Tuesdays of every sprint. Well, every sprint starting with sprint 2. And we get a lot of valuable information from those. And that's where we get ideas for how to make changes to make future voyages even better. Now, one of the things we've seen in recent voyages, we've seen it all along throughout the life of Chingu, but we've seen it even more in the past year, is that problem of abandonment, where people sign up for a voyage and then they don't show up or they don't participate and they drop out. That's extremely disruptive to teams. And some things we've done or we are doing in Voyage 42 to try to make that better, to reduce the rate of abandonment, is we've done a lot more communication. We've done not just postings in like the upcoming voyages channel, but we've also done quite a bit of emailing to the team members. In fact, starting week before last, we've emailed each team member a questionnaire that basically asks them for their response, asks them to agree to each of these items we just went over, about being an active participant and setting aside time and whatnot. We will continue to do that for everyone that hasn't responded. We'll keep sending out another email roughly every 3 days or so, 3 to 4 days, now that we're this close to the voyage. The other thing we've done, and you may have seen it in the upcoming Voyages channel, we've advised them that if they don't respond with that commitment, then they won't be included in Voyage 42. Our view, my view, is that filling out that 4-question form is a pretty low barrier. It doesn't take a lot of effort. And if they're not committed to do that, then how will they be committed to working 6 to 8 hours a week throughout the voyage, with their team? So the other thing that I want to show you, the other change that we've done, again, we've stepped up the communication, but for Tier 1 Chingus, rather than letting Tier 1 teams pick their own project, we are assigning a specific project to every Tier 1 team. And the reason we're doing this is to basically take some of the cognitive load off of them, some of the decision making. We found that Tier 1s are typically, they've got a lot on their minds. They're already learning a lot. They're having to learn a lot of technology. They're having to learn Agile. In some cases, brand new Chingus, they're learning Discord and how to use it. So rather than throw another set of decisions on them, we are providing them with specifications and requirements for a Chuck Norris fact or a Chuck Norris quote application. And these are the specifications that they will receive. We will not provide this to them until the day the voyage starts, until their team channels specifically are opened up. And I have pinned this to the Mentor channel, but I ask that each of you not share this with anyone outside the Mentor team. Because we don't want any one team to have a head start on the other teams. So basically, this is a pretty simple application. It uses a very simple API, a public API of Chuck Norris facts. And what we're asking them to do is to basically create a front-end application, use this API to get the data, and the functionality they need to include is we want options. They need to implement options to display a random fact about Chuck Norris, one that's based on a category where the end user has selected one of the items from a list of categories, or based upon some text string, like a search string entered by the user. We are not we're not giving them any requirements over styling or UI, UX, other than they need to follow accepted design principles. So it's a pretty simple app. Now, one of the things we anticipate and what we're stressing to the teams is we kind of expect that about sprint 4, about the 4th week of the voyage, there will be Tier 1 teams that will have completed this basic functionality. So we've provided a whole list of other features they could choose from, or they could choose some feature of their own design or an enhancement of their own design. And then they can implement that in whatever time is remaining during the voyage. So we're hoping, this is an experiment, we'll see how this works in Voyage 42, but we're hoping that this really will make the voyage more meaningful for the Tier 1 Chingus. So that's all I had. If you have any questions, feel free to enter them in the YouTube chat channel. I'm watching it. Or for that matter, any comments you have or any concerns. What we will also do at the end of the voyage, we will be reaching out to you with a questionnaire to get your thoughts and observations and feelings about how the mentor program worked. Again, I expect that what we'll see out of that, we'll see a lot of things that we can learn and that we can do differently to make this mentorship even better, both for you and the participants. And then always, we created the Mentors channel, Voyage Mentors channel in Discord specifically so that you have a place to ask questions. If there are problems you've encountered, we want you to raise those problems, and we'll work with you. And since that's in a common Mentors channel, all that information will get shared with the other mentors. So I think that'll be a really good way for all of us to both learn more about mentorship and to extend the value of this program. So that's all I had. Again, feel free to reach out if you have questions. Again, you've got Discord. I prefer that you post your questions in the Voyage Mentor channel so that all the mentors can see the answer, or the response, I should say. In some cases, it may not be an answer, it may be advice. And that's really about it. I do want to express, my appreciation for what you're doing. I know other members of the admin team appreciate what you're doing as well. This is a very exciting time for us, and I think this is a really big step. The mentor program is a really big step to get you some new skills that you may not have had the chance to develop before, specifically mentorship. But at the same time, it's a win-win proposal because it's going to give the Voyagers a resource that they haven't had access to before. So with that, once again, thank you. We'll conclude this session, and here's to a successful Voyage 42. Thanks, everyone.